Okay, today we're going to make a video about pivot tables. So if you remember, we had this table we used for phosphate graph. And you can imagine it's a lot of information here. We have information about the samples, their locations, etc. Imagine you want to count, trying to figure out the average phosphate, the number of phosphates, the average lead, etc. And over what parameters. So that's called a pivot table. We'll do this for you. So let's see how we're going to do it. So what you do is you highlight what you want, go to Insert, Pivot Table, right? And then you choose the area, which we did. I'm going to put into Existing Worksheet. I'm going to click over here, hit OK. Oh, we got an error. The pivot field name is not valid. Now, these are always hard to do. So what I usually do is you can actually just copy this, right? This is a good, using Google or chat or something. You put it in. This usually means one or more of the heading cells in the source data is blank. To create a pivot table, you're going to need a heading for each. So let's go back and see if that's true. So I'm going to hit OK, hit Cancel. So if we look, and you can look, yes, indeed, there's a blank column. So now we can just go, delete that to Home, Delete. So now we can go highlight this again. Highlight, highlight, back to Insert, Pivot Table, does it, Existing Worksheet, click here, we're going to put it up over here. We hit OK. Right, and then we don't have a pivot table. So it's how you want to group it. So what we want to do is, if you see how I already have these lines in, and that's showing this like sampling period. So we're going to group by sampling period. So I'm going to click sampling period. Right, and see then it breaks it up. You have these row labels, right, and you can see what they are. You can choose them. It's a sampling period. Now we want to look at phosphate. So what you do is you go over here and you click phosphate. And it puts it down here. And it does sum of phosphate. That's sort of useless for us. So you click on the info. Instead of sum, we're going to do count. How many? So you hit OK. Right, and it tells you how many samples had phosphate for each of those times. We had a total of 34. We had 10, April 96, 7, 10, 7. What you can also do, say you want to average, you can click here, drag it into the values. It does sum again, not helpful, but you do average, average. And so this way, you can now get the average. It produces the averages, and you can see the October average was higher than the April average. And then, right, so that's really nice. So you could do this, and say you even want another one. You could do, right, we could do Mercury. So you click Mercury, it would put it in. You click here, you could do average, Mercury, right, and it has it. Then you can adjust the home. You can adjust it, how many digits you want here, and it looks nice. The only thing is, this is not a live table. So say here you delete this phosphate over here, right? The table does not change, right? So that doesn't help you. So I'm going to put that back. So this is a nice way to go. But I want to show you a little bit more you can do. So if you're done with this, we're going to delete this, function delete. And then, see, we did October 95. I want to split that into two. So let's hit two things, right? So first we're going to do the month. We're going to do October. Let's get that better. So October, copy that. October, October, put it here. These are all October. Then these are April. I'm going to copy here, put these here. And April. And now you can see, and that's going to be the month. This is going to be the year. And so now you can see it's going to be 95. So I'm going to copy 95. Copy 95, put that in. Copy 96, put this in. So let's do 96. This one, put one more in. And then 97. Copy, put this in. Now we're going to do a new pivot table. So let's highlight all this again. Highlight, insert, pivot table, existing worksheet. We're going to put it out over here. And we're going to hit OK. So now what we can do, now we can add it by, let's do by the year first. We're going to do year, right? And if you look, so you can see year, but you want to put year into rows. Let's see if we'll do this. Perfect. And then you don't want some of the years. Now we're gonna want to do cancel for a second. Let's put phosphate in again. Phosphate. Drag this one out. We don't want that in there. Right, it went. So now we don't want sum. We're going to do count. Count. So now you can see 95, 96, what years we did analyses. And then also what you could do, we can put phosphate in here again. Again, we could do average. Right, and then you have the averages from the different years. So you can say, oh, 97 is really low. But if you remember, we haven't accounted for months yet. So now we can click in months, I'm put in the wrong one, but let's put it over here. Right? And so now look, you can see in 95, October, 96, there was 17, April, October. 97, there was just April. So now you can do these comparisons really nicely. We can fix the digits, right? And you have those nicely. Oh, wrong way. Let's go like that. And those look good. You don't want digits on a count, so we get rid of those. Perfect. So you have the digits there. So that looks really good. And if you flip the months and the year, you can change these. Let's see. Right? So if you want April, October, it rearranges it. So it shows the April average, the October average, and how it is for each year. So it's a really nice way to do it. So for your homework, see if you can do this. See if you can do the min and the max for another parameter. So see if you can compare the min and the max for these same months. So you want to find another parameter. Let's click back in here, right? So you could choose something, and you could choose one more. So because you can put two in anyway at the same time. So right, so you can do zinc. I'm going to do average, zinc. You have it in. So let's see if you can set it up like this with the min and the max for something besides phosphate and zinc. Good luck.